Good morning and a warm welcome to you all. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, you are all watching Oman and Sri Lanka Business Forum. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to this special event where we are going to discuss a wide range of topics, business investments, incentives, and furthermore, cooperations and initiatives. In this special event, we are going to have speakers from both the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka, where they are going to enlighten us on opportunities and business cooperation between the two countries. And before we get started, I would like to invite His Excellency Engineer Rida Al Saleh, Chairman of Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to deliver his welcome speech. Your Excellency, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. In the name of Allah and merciful His Excellency Omar Labi Amir Jawad, Ambassador of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka to the Sultan of Oman, His Excellency Sheikh Jum'a bin Hamdan Al Malik Al Shahi, Ambassador of Oman at Sri Lanka, His Excellency Mr. Nadika Bodabali, President National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka, businessmen and businesswomen, peace, mercy, and blessing of Allah upon all of you. At the beginning of this meeting, let me welcome all of you on behalf of Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We are also pleased to extend our thanks to the Sri Lankan Embassy in the Sultanate of Oman and the Sri Lankan National Chamber of Commerce for their participation in organizing the Omani Sri Lankan Business Forum, which aims to enhance the communication, economic, and commercial cooperation with Sri Lanka. It also focuses on the developing trade relation between them, reviewing experience, exchanging experience, and discussing about the finding commercial and economy partnership in the targeted sector, namely health, foodstuff, agriculture, tourism, boat building, fisheries, ready-made garments, communication, and information technology. Introducing the Omani market and discovering the mutual commercial and investment opportunity are also important focus areas. We confirm our keenness that this meeting will produce positive results that serve the private sector in the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka, especially since they have been linked to the vital commercial relation for hundreds of years. With the outset of the blessed Renaissance, the Sultanate sought to strengthen the trade relation between two countries in various economic fields, and this was expressed in 3 royal decrees. The first was in 1994, which approved the ratification of the agreement to avoid the double taxation on income arising from the air transport activity between the Sultanate of Oman and Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. And the second degree was ratification of the amendment of the agreement regulating air transport services between the both countries. The third degree was ratification of agreement between the agreement of the Sultan of Oman and government of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka to avoid double taxation and prevent fiscal evasion with respect to income tax in 2019. Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry in 2014 signed a memorandum of agreement and understanding with the Federation of Sri Lankan Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Dear attendants, this year witnessed the celebration of the occasion of the 40th anniversary of establishing of diplomatic relation between the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of Sri Lanka, which begins in 1981, in which the two countries laid the foundation for the fruitful cooperation in many political, diplomatic, economic, and cultural fields. The cooperation was characterized by positive and mutual respect. The celebration also considered the launching of the memorial logo, symbolizing the strength of the diplomatic relation between two friendly countries. The exchange of experience between Sultanate and Sri Lanka has withheld a remarkable fluctuation in the recent years, as the value of trade exchange between the two countries in 2019 amounted to about $75 million, of which the Omani export represented about $14.5 million, which is a significant drop compared to 2018, which was amounted to $34 million, while the volume of Omani import from Sri Lanka in 2019 amounted to about $60 million. Omani exports to Sri Lanka are primarily in animal, vegetable, food products, mining products, rubber products, in addition to wood and cement products, while Omani imports from Sri Lanka are primarily in plant and animal food products and minerals, in addition to chemical industry and raw materials for the household appliance. Hence, we believe that this meeting is an opportunity for us to raise these modest figures and work on developing them by increasing the rates of intra-regional trade between the two countries and strengthening the trade exchange in various sectors, and especially import for the Sultanate of Oman in the new era of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq. May Allah protect him, who has held an economy movement through the economic stimulus plan and pursuit of economy diversification, in which the logistical sector in one of the main pillars. A number of the indicators have emerged that the convey Oman 2040 vision, as the Sultanate ranked first in the world in terms of speedy handling container ship. The Sultanate has also issued a number of legislation and laws that stimulated investment, such as the Foreign Investment Law, the Privatization Law, the Public-Private Partnership Law, and Bankruptcy Law, which constitute an attractive and stimulating environment for the private sector, companies, and institutions in promoting investment in boosting economy sector. The Foreign Capital Investment Law allows for the ownership in companies in the Sultanate of Oman by up to 100%, according to the Foreign Capital Investment Law, which allow the foreign investor to invest in about 2,000 commercial or industrial activities, as well as allow the practical commercial and investment activity by obtaining a provisional license, which allow the investor to practice the business activity without having to wait for the final license. In accordance with the Foreign Capital Investment Law, all the registered companies receive the same treatment as the Omani-owned companies with respect to the commercial registration fees. When investment in the sector economy diversification is specified in the 10th five-year plan and in the subsectors. The Sultanate of Oman also offered 150 investment opportunity valued $3.5 billion, amounting the amount important investment opportunity offered by the Sultanate to investors and in the area of mining, quarrying, food products, manufacturing, paper and paper products, chemical material, and their products. And rubber and plastic products, non-metallic manufacturing and products. base metals and foam metals products, excluding machinery and equipment, and electrical equipment manufacturing, manufacturing of machinery and equipment, manufacturing of transport equipment, waste collection treatment, disposable and material recovery activity, in addition to the field of construction. The Sultanate recently announced the Investor Residency Program, under which foreign investors and retirees are granted to the right of long-term residence in the Sultanate for a period of 5 to 10 years, subject to renewal. Dear all, the signing of Memorandum of Understanding with the National Chamber of Commerce of the Republic of Sri Lanka will undoubtedly contribute to strengthen the value of the commercial cooperation and develop the work of communication between the business owner in the two countries, especially since the National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka is a centrally point for the Sri Lankan companies and includes under its 63 chambers and Sri Lanka Business Federation. It works to demonstrate the competitiveness of Sri Lanka companies and support their spread locally, globally. What we aspire to achieve can only be achieved through the hard work and more effort in building the joint investment and commercial projects that serve the interests of the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka, activating the joint cooperation agreement and benefiting from the advantage and facility offered by our countries in attracting the value-added investment. We in the Sultanate of Oman welcome the company wishing to obtain investment opportunity in various sectors. We are also fully prepared to implement any joint program to achieve the desired goal and find the point of contact and to activate the exchange of information, opportunities and facilities, supported the organizing of meetings between the businessmen and facilitating the transfer of capital, which contribute to the diversification of the joint economy project. Dear honorable attendants, in conclusion, we hope that the meeting will contribute in exploring the possibility of cooperation and enhancing the company activity on both sides. We are pleased to present action paper in this session to review the most important economy sector that Sultanate focus on in Oman 2040 vision. We will also talk about free economic zone and investment in the industrial sector, an area of cooperation and partnership in this sector today. We also have the participation of representing from the Ministry of Agriculture, Fishery and Water Resources, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, and General Authority for Special Economic Zone and Free Zone in the Sultanate of Oman. We hereby affirm the Chamber readiness to provide all the facilities and support joint investment initiatives, hoping that the work of this forum will be crowned with a success. Thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Engineer Rida bin Juma Al Saleh, the Chairman of Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And now I would like to kindly invite His Excellency Omar Lepi Amir Ajwad, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka to the Sultanate of Oman. Your Excellency, over to you to deliver your speech.
Your Excellency, Engineer Rida Juma Al Saleh, Chairman of the Board of Directors, Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry. His Excellency Sheikh Juma bin Hamdan Al Shehi, Ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman to Sri Lanka, President of the National Chambers of Commerce of Sri Lanka, Mr. Nandika Buddhipala, distinguished members of the Board of Oman Chamber of Commerce, and distinguished speakers at today's business forum, and my dear participants from Sri Lanka and the Sultanate of Oman. Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. Today is a historic occasion for the business communities of Sri Lanka and the Sultanate of Oman, as the two countries' national chambers of commerce signed the first ever memorandum of understanding of its kind. This momentous occasion also coincides with the 40th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and the Sultanate of Oman, which is being commemorated this year, as His Excellency the President Chairman has elaborately mentioned. First of all, I wish to extend my sincere thanks to His Excellency Engineer Rida Juma Saleh, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and his committed and cooperative staff at the OCCI in Muscat. And also my sincere thanks to my friend, Mr. Ali Hamdan Al-Ajmi, who the member of the board, who has been a tower of strength for me to engage with the Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and also your staff, Ms. Haritha Al-Busaidi and then Sheikha of your staff. They are very cooperative and very actively responding to our interactions. And thank you all for the, I take this opportunity to thank you all for this initiative. And also my thanks are also due to Mr. Nandika Buddhipala and his active team at the National Chamber of Commerce in Sri Lanka, including the Secretary General, Mr. Bandula Disanayaka, for their unwavering support in organizing this unique 3-in-1 event to happen virtually today amidst challenges posed by the global pandemic. I take this opportunity to thank our distinguished speakers today at the Business Forum for their gracious participation. As the nation sharing the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka and Oman had established trade links from the time immemorial. History records visit of a 9th century Omani trading vessel to the port of Galle in Sri Lanka. Muscat is a household name in Sri Lanka. Omani halwa is known as Muscat in Sri Lanka. This demonstrates the deep-rooted people-to-people contacts between the two countries in the history. The unique geographical location that the both countries are naturally blessed with provide immense potential to complement each other in deepening economic engagement. Sri Lanka could be a pathway for Oman to enter South and Southeast Asian countries and could utilize Sri Lanka's free trade agreements with India, Pakistan, Singapore, and forthcoming one with China and others. In turn, Oman can be a gateway for Sri Lanka's entry into North Africa, Middle Eastern countries, and even USA by utilizing Oman's free trade agreement with the USA and the GCC countries. Sri Lanka and Oman have now embarked on an ambitious economic diversification drive under the visionary leaderships of both countries. Vistas of prosperity and splendor, the vision of His Excellency Gotabaya Rajapaksa, President of Sri Lanka, and Oman's Vision 2040, engineered by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Hafizahullah, are the two roadmaps in this direction. I believe the MOU that the two countries, the two national chambers of commerce are going to sign this morning will no doubt facilitate to realize these two visions and to open up new vistas of opportunities in a range of areas for business cooperation between the business communities in both countries. The current level of bilateral trade and investment between the two countries does not reflect the true potential of bilateral economic opportunities available in both countries. Establishment of direct contacts between the two national chambers of commerce will enhance business exchanges to bolster trade and investment between the two countries. Today's MOU will serve as a catalyst to forge such cooperation and collaboration between the business communities of both countries to the mutual benefit of the two nations. In the recent past, we have taken a number of initiatives to facilitate economic cooperation between the two countries. Sri Lanka and Oman have signed an agreement on the avoidance of double taxation, as Your Excellency eloquently elaborated. An agreement on promotion and reciprocal protection of investments, as well as two MOUs on agriculture and tourism cooperation between the two countries are being negotiated, and they are at the final stages and it will be concluded soon by the relevant ministries of both countries. For the last couple of years, as for the trade, the food sector has performed very well. Sri Lankan companies were able to introduce new products into Omani market, including Sri Lankan frozen chicken, the first time in the history. Oman's OQ trading supplies LPG to the government-owned Litro Gas Lanka Limited. As for the investment, Oman's Shmukh Investment Services has made proposal to invest in renewable energy in Sri Lanka. Similarly, Sri Lankan rubber company Lalan Group is currently setting up a glove plant for medical disposal gloves in the Sohar-free zone in Oman. The business communities of both countries could make use of this growing momentum. In this context, we have identified a few most potential focus areas for B2B engagements today, namely health, food, agriculture, fisheries, tourism, boat building, apparel industry, and ICT, and so on. I'm confident that the members of the business community in both countries, in Sri Lanka as well as Sultanate of Oman, would avail the best use of this MOU to be signed this morning. I wish you every success in your present and future endeavors and engagements to bring about mutual economic benefits for the both peoples of Sri Lanka and the Sultanate of Oman. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you.
Excellency Omar Lapi Amir Ajwad, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka to the Sultanate of Oman. Thank you, Your Excellency. And I would like to take this opportunity to extend our greetings also and thanks to His Excellency Sheikh Jum'a bin Hamdan al-Shahi, the Ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman to Sri Lanka. And now allow me to invite His Excellency Mr. Nandika Budipala, President of the National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka, to deliver also his welcoming speech. So, Your Excellency, over to you.
Thank you very much. I suppose it's good morning to everybody. Good morning from Sri Lanka as well as good morning to Oman. And it's quite obvious that we have had a kind of huge relationship between the two countries at various levels, not only business community to business community, but at government to government level and specifically diplomatic kind of relationships. So we are getting into another step today. It's going to be extremely important for us to extend this relationship further to improve the trade between the countries, the investment between the countries. And specifically when we look at it, of course, yes, it's a big economy as far as the Oman is concerned. Sultanate of Oman is, when we look at it, even though the population is maybe about 4 to 5 million, but we know GDP is running into about 190 billion, whereas ours is about 85 billion kind of economy. But a quite unfortunate fact is that when we look at the total trade volume, the trade volume is running into maybe about 200 billion. So we have huge scope there for us to improve in that particular aspect. And as far as the two countries are concerned, I personally, maybe about 30 years ago, I was there when I was quite young for about 2 to 3 months. So I know about the country very well. Thereafter as well, time to time, even this year, during the pandemic also, visited over there and met up with Your Excellency Amir Rajwad as well. And it's great opportunity for us to have this kind of a discussion. His Excellency Engineer Reha Juma Al-Saleh, extremely thankful to you. And then specifically, we have been working on this quite for a while because we need to have some kind of interaction before we get into these kind of activities. Then the other important aspect is going to be after we conclude this momentous occasion of signing, the important element is going to be the conversation between the business communities. And that is going to be extremely important for us to move forward. Even though the pandemic is hitting us, we are aggressively going on vaccination process. Still, there is no time for us to wait and see. We need to find all the opportunities for us to move forward. So it's a fine opportunity for us. And we identified, as His Excellency mentioned, we identified the health and tourism sector, livestock and farming sector, the boat building and industry, fisheries sector, food sector, garments, ICT, agriculture sector, kind of very focused sectors where we should be able to improve our relationships and the trade as well as investment between the countries. And specifically, I need to mention the fact that Engineer Ibrahim Al-Mamari and Mr. Mahmoud Al-Siabi as well as Ms. Turaya Al-Sarafia from Omani side, from Ministry of Commerce and the Ministry of Agriculture and Public Authority for Special Economic Zones. And then from Sri Lanka side, Mr. Sanjay Mohottala, Mr. Suraj Timel, Sandra D'Souza, and none other than one of our colleagues and the past presidents, Mr. Asoka Hettigoda. Those are from Board of Investment, Export Development Board, and Sri Lanka Association of SLASCOM. These are kind of very, very important elements when we look at it as far as the investments and the trade and their relationships are concerned. Specifically our part of the world, not only Sri Lanka, but even in Oman, the certain ministries and certain other infrastructure that is developed to support the local entrepreneurs and for them to have interaction with the other countries as well as even for them to develop themselves in the country. These kind of government, the infrastructure is extremely important. Without them, it's going to be extremely difficult for us to move forward. Need to specifically extend our thanks on behalf of National Chamber in Sri Lanka to all the speakers who are coming forward to facilitate this particular occasion. Then from my side, with very short notice, it's extremely important for us to see Mr. Sanjay Mohottala, Suresh Dimel, Sandra, as well as Asoka to be here with us for us to facilitate this particular moment. And maybe my final message is that this particular MOU that we are going to sign is going to be only a starting point for our journey. And we need to move forward with our interaction. And I'm very, very glad that we are having more than 100 maybe participants from both the countries at this particular moment after we sign our MOUs. We are getting into B2B sessions, as His Excellency Amir Rajwad mentioned. That is the most important part. So we are starting it. We are not delaying it for another 1 day or even for a moment. So we are getting into business very seriously. And it's a very, very important. The trade is going to pick up. Maybe there can be the very short-term hiccups due to pandemic. But we know after a while, the trade is going to start, as well as even as we speak, trade and investments are going through among the countries. So we need to facilitate our economies. Then as a world sustainable economy to come forward, for us to have that relationship, it's going to be extremely important for this particular moment. And I warmly welcome and warmly thank all of you from Oman and Sri Lanka encouraging us for this particular historical moment, and wish you all best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Nandika Pudapilala, the President of the National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka. As their Excellencies have mentioned, the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka hold deep-rooted historical relations, and today's forum comes within the initiatives and the efforts of both parties to realize the national visions. And in a while, or now actually, we are going to witness a signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka, represented by both National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to realize the national visions of both countries. So now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite representatives of both National Chamber of Commerce of the Sultanate and Sri Lanka to sign the Memorandum of Understanding.
I think we need to show it up, the signed copy.
Yes. You are very fast. I didn't sign yet. Your Excellency, you didn't sign yet? Okay.
Absolutely fine, Your Excellency. Yeah.
We'll sign and we'll show you. Very nice.
Your Excellency, Mr. Nandika, if you can just put it to the middle of the screen, please. Yes, a little bit up. A little bit up, okay. Okay, good. So this is a great moment where we have witnessed the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka to enhance the business trade and business exchange between the two countries. So thank you, Your Excellencies, for taking the time to sign this very important Memorandum of Understanding, and we wish further success and collaboration between both countries. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will...
If you allow me, if you don't mind, Mr. Khan,
yes.
I will just hand over this agreement to His Excellency the Ambassador on our behalf, so he can make sure that it will reach to His Excellency the President of the Chamber.
Yes, please. So yes, this is a very special moment where the Memorandum of Understanding is going to enhance the relations between the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka, and to encourage further business development in both countries to realize the national visions of both countries. Thank you, Your Excellencies.
Also,
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies.
Yes.
If you just quick, you kindly give me a small few minutes. I want to present His Excellency
sure.
the badge we have specially issued to celebrate the 40th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and Oman this year in February 17th. So this we issued to mark that occasion, this badge. So I'm presenting this to His Excellency Sheikh Rida.
Thank you very much. It's very nice of you, and we are really today celebrating a double occasion of signing MOU, and at the same time we are celebrating of the 40th relation Oman.
It's a momentous occasion.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this occasion.
Thank you. And I will be wearing this.
Yes, please.
It will be my pleasure to be there.
Yes, sure.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. This really marks a milestone in the relations between the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka, celebrating the 40th anniversary of the deep historical relations between the two countries. Congratulations to all of us, and we wish further success and achievements to both brotherly countries. And now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite you to watch this short video. After that, we will continue the sessions of today's forum. Stay tuned.
The Sultanate of Oman. An ancient land of immense and incredible beauty. A treasure trove of wonders. A masterpiece of nature. A land steeped in history. A place to awaken your senses. And realize your dreams. Visit Oman and escape the crowds. Come to Oman to be yourself. To find yourself. To do more than you thought possible. Experience Oman's unique mosaic of ancient culture. Stunning scenery. And contemporary living. Get to know this thriving modern business hub and haven for the arts. Come to Oman and discover spectacular sights as you enjoy moments you'll remember forever. The Sultanate of Oman, a country of grace and charm. Of quiet sophistication and peace. An oasis of tranquility. Oman. More than you can imagine. Everything you dream. Visit Oman.
Indeed, Oman is more than you can imagine. Ladies and gentlemen, you are live watching the business forum between the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka. In today's forum, we are going to have two presentation sessions, one from the Sultanate of Oman side and the other one from Sri Lanka side. The first speaker of today's forum is from the Sultanate of Oman, and he is Engineer Ibrahim Al-Ma'mari, representing the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion. Engineer Ibrahim bin Saeed Al-Ma'mari, he is the CEO of Investment Services Center at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion since April 2019. He holds a bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering from Sultan Qaboos University. Previously, he worked in the oil and gas sector, both upstream and downstream, for nearly 19 years. He also holds a level 5 certificate in leadership and management from the Chartered Institute of Management and has completed the Harvard Mentor program. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to invite Engineer Ibrahim Al-Ma'mari to deliver his presentation. Engineer Ibrahim, good morning and over to you.
Good morning, Saleh, and good morning for Your Excellencies and our guests from Sri Lanka. It's my pleasure to be with you today to give a short presentation. According to the agreement here is supposed to be only for 10 minutes. So just allow me to start my presentation, and I'll try to be more brief in terms of the areas that I think maybe we'll just pass it through quickly. But the other area, I'll try to give more insight, and maybe even later on, if there is any discussion, we can have one-to-one, or our office in the ministry is welcoming any discussion and clarification. So in Oman, we are trying to explain about about Oman. Oman is almost 300,000 kilometer square, and we have around 3,100 kilometers coastline with 4.6 population. Almost 2.2 of them in the working population, and the median age is 25. Oman is one of the Gulf most skilled and best educated workforce. We have natural resources, and we have attractive investment opportunities, and of course world-class infrastructure. In addition, we have business-friendly regulation and framework, and Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion is taking care of the investor, either local or foreign investors. As we all see that Oman is in the heart of GCC market with 54 million consumers. We are less than 3 hours from flight from over the third of the world population. And also we have connected by direct flights to the cities in the Gulf, Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America. Shipping time over an average of 30 to 40% lower than the competing locations. 15 days to New York, 12 to UK, and 8 to Singapore. So in terms of infrastructure, Oman has, in terms of either economic zone, free zone, and industrial cities, overall the country, as you can see it clearly in the map. We have more than 12 industrial cities, plus 1 economic zone and 3 free zone allocated across the area. And we have Dokhon free zone, which will be explained by my colleagues from OBAS in details, which is larger, which is almost equivalent to 3 times the size of Singapore. In terms of investment, we have 100% foreign-owned business ownership, no foreign exchange control, so investors can transfer his money or even the equity of his investment in Oman. We have full transparency in terms of legal framework. We have, of course, open and friendly global outlook. Recently, there are almost 5 or 6 regulation has been established related to the investment environment. One of them is the FDI law, which allow 100% foreign ownership. The BBB is also recently established in Oman, plus the bankruptcy and the commercial companies law, plus the privatization law. if you come to the sectors, which actually is part of or align with our 5-year plan and Vision 2040, these are the main sectors that Oman actually focus. If we talk about manufacturing, manufacturing contributed almost 7.9 billion to Oman economy in 2019, comparing or representing 10% of our GDPs, and also over 1 billion has been invested in building a Class A manufacturing space in Oman. Foreign investment in manufacturing increased to 2.8 billion in 2018, compared to 2.3 in 2017. Oman home to world-leading manufacturers such as Vale, Oman Cables, Octal, Sohar Aluminium, and others. Omani manufacturers exported to almost 130 countries today. In terms of tourism, Oman welcomed more than 3.5 tourists in 2019. And in 2019, ports Sultan Qaboos, Salalah Port, and Khasab Port welcomed almost more than 280,000 cruise ship visitors. From December 2020, nationals from 103 countries are exempted from any entry visa to Sultanate of Oman for a period of 10 days. Muscat International Airport now serves almost 32 airlines. The other sectors like logistics, mining, food, and the others are also really sectors that Oman and our stakeholders really focus on them.
Engineer
Yes.
Ibrahim, I'll try to bring the papers away from the mic because there's a little bit of echo coming on.
Sure. So these are in the map, which decided to be our focus in terms of export or investment target markets. As you see in the map, they are either from Asia or Africa or overall Middle East. In the ministry, we are really give the right support to the investors. Investment Service Center, ISC, is designed to welcome all investors, to give all kind of support which investors are looking for. And we will explain later on about what all of these kind of support that can be given to the investor through online and physical support. So as explained also, we have access to the global market. We advise on export trade rather than only local demand. And as explained, Oman connected with most of the world-class countries. Just to conclude, our support will be through these different tools. Invest in Oman portal, which is to promote for all business opportunities in Oman, and introducing with our opportunities to the investor, and it is sort of attractive website. In addition to that one, we have also Invest Easy, which is our portal to register the companies and licensing the companies. So the overall objective of Invest Easy is to give all kind of support for the investor journey, starting from business opportunities, issuing the CR, and also the licenses and permits for the investor. So this is the whole support that can be given to the investor. And this is the end of my presentation. I hope I explained in brief what Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion can give as a support to the investor in Oman.
Engineer Ibrahim Al-Ma'mari from the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion for your informative presentation, giving us a clear picture of how the ministry can support investors locally and external also investors, and also the incentives, and particularly the portal Invest Easy, and how can this speed up the process of getting investment opportunities. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the second speaker from the Sultanate side in today's business forum is Mr. Mahmoud Siabi from the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources. He is an analyst in the food security team at Oman Vision 2040 follow-up unit since 2017. He holds a bachelor's degree in marine and fisheries sciences from Sultan Qaboos University. He has a 4 years experience in the field of development, management, and follow-up of governmental and private projects in the fisheries sector, solving challenges, finding solutions, and escalating them to decision makers. So without any further ado, I would like to invite now Mr. Mahmoud Siabi to deliver his presentation. Mr. Mahmoud, over to you.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
I shall start immediately. Good morning, everyone. What I'm going to present today is mainly I'll talk about the food security sector, fisheries part. I'll go through what have been done in the fisheries sector at the few years until today. Firstly, in 2017, there was the fisheries labs with the help of Bimandu, was conducted in 2017. The Sultanate has looked towards the projects of the sectors, and they planned how to develop the sector from the scratch, from the beginning. The outcomes of these labs was a number of projects and initiatives. Those have been followed up for the 3 years, and this is the 4th year now. In this year, 2021, there was another workshop conducted to develop a new business opportunities at the sector. So what I'm going to present today is about this, the outcomes of this second workshop, where we have looked towards the value chain of the sector. We look towards the value chain. We analyzes the gaps we have at the Sultanate, where we don't have investment or no investment, in which gap in this the value chain. Most of it we have allocated for some business opportunities. I will go through. I have a list of them. You will see that I have only a list now, but if there is any interest for any of these opportunities, we are more than happy to share the information about them. We'll contact later on, but for the sake of the time, I'll go through the business opportunities at the sector. First, we will talk about the catch. We have different or a list of investment opportunities in the ports. We have a number of ports at the coast of Oman. We have an example of a port that has been invested in by private sector operation and construction. Therefore, we have another list of them are already ready for investment. I mean, all the licenses are ready, everything is ready, only we need an investor for them. We have also, other than ports, we have another different business opportunities we're talking about. For example, here, multi-purpose vessel. This has been this was also offered at the workshop, an outcome of it. We have a huge number or huge value of lanternfish that needs to be exploited. Also, this is an investment opportunity. We have also, of course, large pelagic and small pelagic stocks available. The Sultanate have the chance to increase their landing for a huge number of tons. So there are business opportunities in the catch for small pelagic and large pelagic. Also, we have the squid fishery. We have also a number of investment opportunities in artificial coral reefs. Also, we have the deep sea lobster. The other part is the aquaculture. Mainly the aquaculture industry in Oman has started recently. I mean, we talk about the huge numbers of production. I mean, the production of, for example, we talk about the shrimp farming. We talk about the cage farming. A successful projects that we can see are recently started. We have some projects in Muscat for marine cage farming. We have also in Sharqiya some shrimp farming projects. So here are an investment opportunities at the same sector in aquaculture. We have a number of marine cage farming along the coast of Oman, number of 9 projects, and there are more even. Investment opportunities. We also have opportunities for shrimp farming. Also, there is an opportunities for freshwater fish aquaculture and fin fish hatchery also. All these opportunities are land allocated for already. So, and also the preliminary approvals are there. So we're looking for investors for them. Then also we are talk about the processing sector, the fisheries itself. We have business opportunities for control and surveillance units, different ones. We have in Dokum 1, it needs to be invested in. Also, we have in Dhufar and also in Al Batana. Also, we have some central markets, fish markets all around the Sultanate that needs to be invested in also. Another business opportunities or investment opportunities we have are in fish canning. Also, we have fish gear manufacturing. We have value addition processing. Almost all type of processing we have an opportunities for, and these opportunities are the ones that are not completely ready to be invested in are already working on to be preliminary approved from all sides, so an investor can invest it before the end of this year. Hopefully, we're planning that. So I have briefed all the business opportunities, try to catch up with the time. Again, I remind you, if there's any interest for the list of business opportunities listed here, please just contact me and we'll meet again later after all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mahmoud Siabi, for giving us a clear picture about the investment opportunities and also incentives in the agriculture and fisheries sector in the Sultanate. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move to the third speaker from the Sultanate, and that is Ms. Thuraya Al-Zarafi. She is from the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones, OPAZ. Ms. Thuraya, she's an experienced marketer with the demonstrated history of working in the investment organizations like OPAZ and CZAD marketing, telecommunications like in Ooredoo, and business-to-business marketing, and also in fast-moving consumer goods in Unilever and marketing sales industries in the Oman and UAE. She is skilled in branding, marketing, and analytics, and she goes to market strategy development, new product launches and sales. Ms. Thuraya is also a graduate from Monash University, where she received a bachelor's double degree in marketing and international business. So, Ms. Thuraya, welcome to this business forum, and now over to you to deliver your presentation.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum in Oman and in Sri Lanka. It's my pleasure to participate in representing the authority at today's business forum. I will share my presentation. So the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones was recently developed through Royal Decree back in August 2020. The agenda for my presentation today is I will take everybody through who we are, our strategic location in terms of where our free zones and special economic zones are. What do we do to facilitate an ideal business environment to invite foreign businesses to Oman? What are the incentives that we provide in our zones? And then I will take you through each and every one of our zones that are the Special Economic Zone and Al-Daqam, Suhar Port and Free Zone, Salalah Free Zone, and finally Al-Mazyuna Free Zone. The public authority, as I mentioned earlier, was formed through Royal Decree. And as you can see here at the top of the map in the north, you have Suhar Free Zone and Port. In the middle area, in Al-Wusta, you have Daqam Special Economic Zone. And then towards the south, you have Salalah Free Zone, and bordering Yemen is Al-Mazyuna. The total size of all of our zones come to approximately 2,000, around 2,000 square kilometers. Now, the authority was established with a set of, with a mandate of 4 primary functions. They are planning, facilitating, regulating, and operating. In the case of Daqam. So we are operating in the case of the Daqam Special Economic Zone. Suhar is operated by the Suhar Free Zone Company and Port Rotterdam. Salalah is operated by the Salalah Free Zone Company, which is a subsidiary company owned by Oman Investment Authority. And finally, we have Al-Mazyuna, which is operated by the establishment for industrial estates called Al-Madayan. The reason Oman is an ideal location for investment is where we are strategically located. We are strategically located in the open sea with an access and a close proximity to a potential market size of up to 2.5 billion people. In terms of the ideal business environment that I had mentioned earlier, the value proposition that we provide our, our friends in Sri Lanka is we have, as I mentioned, a strategic location. We have great international relationships worldwide. We have diverse natural resources. So moving away from heavy reliance in oil and gas industries and leveraging off of other industries that Oman is proud of, such as our minerals and our fisheries. We have ease of doing business, as my colleagues, my counterparts in Oman have mentioned previously. And we also have a multi-modal transportation system. On the right-hand side, you'll see what are the fundamental pillars that we believe that we can provide our investors with. We provide them with quality infrastructure for them to come and set up their business. We make sure that they are connected, provided with all of the utilities that they are required. They have skilled employment, local skilled employment, tech infrastructure, and great bilateral relationships. The incentives that we offer our investors, these are among some of the incentives in the free zones and the special economic zones in Oman. 100% wholly owned businesses. There's no minimum capital requirements. Tax is free, tax exemptions for up to 30 years. 100% of profit is permitted. Our tenancy or our user-fract agreements are up to 50 years and are renewable for similar periods. We offer other incentives like 2-year grace periods, rent-free, and then construction to allow investors to begin their construction, and then they can begin at the beginning of the 3rd year, and other incentives. On the right-hand side, you'll find our flow, our investor journey of the one-stop shop. So we ensure that everything is streamlined alongside our incentives in order to attract, in order to grow and foster our businesses and investments in Oman. Going into the Omani free and economic zones, firstly, the special economic zone at Al Duqm, which is our only economic zone in Oman, as well as the largest. It is about 2,000 square kilometers, as my colleague had mentioned, about 3 times the size of Singapore. The key sectors in the special economic zone are the industrial, the seaport, tourism, fisheries, central business districts, logistics, education, residential, and medical. We have also port facilities available in the zone in Al-Duqm. We have a multi-purpose port, which is managed and operated by the Port of Duqm company. We also have an airport, so the flight from our capital, Muscat, to Duqm is about 1 hour. And we have accommodation, medical, and educational facilities to support our investors when they come with their families. This is our master plan. As you can see on the left-hand side, this is the initial phase of development, which is about 45% of development of the entire zone. As you can see, the different colors reflect the different industries and sectors available. Sohar Port and Free Zone. Sohar Port and Free Zone area is about 45 square kilometers. And the key sectors there, the focus areas, are plastics and chemicals, metals, industrial, minerals, logistics, pharma, and circular economy and textiles. As His Excellency, the Ambassador, had mentioned, we do have a presence of a Sri Lankan business in the Sohar Free Zone. We also have a port facility, deep sea port, an airport, and accommodation and medical educational facilities as well to support the master plan of the Sohar Free Zone. And next we have the Salalah Free Zone. The Salalah Free Zone is located on the south of Oman, close to the North African region, with an area size of 21 square kilometers. The key sectors in Salalah Free Zone is industrial, logistics, assembly, manufacturing, and distribution. It is an ideal location for a transshipment hub if investors would like to bring products and services from Asia, have Salalah as a transshipment hub, and then re-exporting it to the African region. Also, there is a port and an airport available, and other accommodation, medical, and educational facilities available over there. This is the master plan of the Salalah Free Zone. And finally, we have Al-Mazuna Free Zone, which borders Yemen, which is our smallest at 14.5 square kilometers. And the key sectors or the key investment opportunities there are within the commercial sector, the service sector, and the industrial sector for packaging, foodstuff, re-exporting and importing and handling, and so on. Thank you very much for allowing me to present once more. And again, if there are any questions or concerns, or are there any conversations that you would like to have, please feel free to contact me at my information here. And I'll be more than happy to support you with any of the inquiries that you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Mr. Raya Azarafi from the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones, OPAZ, for your informative presentation about the investment opportunities and incentives in the Special Economic Zones and Free Zones in the Sultanate. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, you are watching Oman and Sri Lanka Business Forum. And now directly we'll move to the second session of presentations from the Sri Lankan side. And the first speaker is Mr. Sanjay Mohotala, the Chairman Board of Investment of Sri Lanka. Prior to being appointed as the Chairman of Board of Investment of Sri Lanka, Mr. Mohotala functioned as the Director General of Board of Investment of Sri Lanka. Simultaneously, he serves as a board member of Sri Lankan Airlines, ADB, and Sahaisa. He is also a member of the Presidential Task Force of Economic Revival and Poverty Eradication. Mr. Mohotala received his MBA from the UCLA Anderson School of Management, a Fulbright Scholar, and holds a Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering from the University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka. Now we would like kindly to invite Mr. Sanjay Mohotala to deliver his presentation. So Mr. Sanjay, over to you, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Excellencies, distinguished guests. Thanks for the kind introduction. And I hope, I want to take these 10 minutes to lay down broadly why Sri Lanka is a next growth haven in South Asia, and what sort of investment opportunities would result from it. Can you put the presentation up, please? Right. So if you look at Sri Lanka, you can go to the next page, please. If you look at Sri Lanka, we, as a country, we have one of the strongest economic fundamentals in the region, right? So we have the highest GDP per capita, 3 times higher than the South Asia average. Despite some of the recent challenges, we've been growing at least 5% plus GDP growth over the last 10 years. The peaks around being 7 to 8% in 2014 to 2016 period. We are strategically located, just like your country over there. We are one of the transshipment hubs in South Asia, with 2 international container terminals, both in Colombo and Hambantota, as well as 3 international airports. Being one of the large transshipment hubs, we are also becoming the epicenter for businesses as well. One of the key advantages that Sri Lanka provides is we are one of the countries that can trade effectively with or without any restrictions with Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and East Africa, creating access to over 2.5 billion individuals who are medium and affluent consumers who are going up. So that means quite a bit of business opportunities that's around the region. We are today is a skill powerhouse and a country and or cities that provides good living conditions in the region. We have been ranked #1 in terms of the human capital. So that means we have a very trainable workforce within the BY companies, which accounts about 70% of our exports from Sri Lanka. We have workforce about 500,000 and directly and indirectly about another 1.5 million. In terms of the competitiveness, we are the 2nd highest ranked country in the region. In terms of the most livable city, and anyone who looks into tourism or travel in Sri Lanka, we know that we offer a amazing destination for travel, and we've been recognized as the #1 city to live in most part of the past decade. So where is our country's vision? Our country's vision is to take Sri Lanka from $4,000 per capita GDP to $10,000 per capita GDP over a decade. So this is an ambitious task. And what we have done in the last one and a half years, despite COVID, is to set the right foundation to be able to get the acceleration we need post-COVID. And we are seeing some of the good benefits in the last 6-7 months, with over $2.5 billion worth of, close to $2.5 billion worth of investments being approved in these priority sectors we have identified. So Sri Lanka has put down 6 key priority sectors to be able to achieve that goal. First one will be manufacturing. Here, all the idea is to create a $1 billion export vertical by 2025 in these sectors. Pharmaceutical is one of the sectors that we are really looking at, given the geopolitical shifts we see, and the recent COVID pandemic, and also the multinationals expanding their production footprint. There's a state-of-the-art zone for 400 acres with sea and air logistics. That means it's a sandwich between a port and one of the international airports, so that the companies will have direct sea air logistics capabilities. For apparel, where we import close to about $2.5 billion of the apparel, we are looking to localize $500 million to $1 billion of investments. And out of the 10 plants we're looking for, 5 we have already had a soft commitment, 1 have already started or will be starting in the next couple of weeks. And then we are looking at buildings, verticals like electronics, not to be the assembly just like what Vietnam is, but really taking advantage of the future, just above the horizon technologies, whether it is graphene nanotubes, carbon nanotubes, or whether it is the crystalline silica-based solutions, which is needed for the Industrial 4.0. The second part of it, of course, ICT, one of the fastest growing segments in the region. We have achieved close to about $1.7 billion worth of exports to date, and we are looking to get it to about $3 billion by 2025. And with some of the larger companies, the global companies, giving commitments and looking at the effort that Sri Lanka has put in to build a foundation, build a talent pool, bringing in a clearance in terms of the banking sector, bringing in a universal ID system or digital ID. So all these are helping the ICT sector to blossom, and this is one of the areas. There's a lot of opportunities. As you know, Sri Lanka's code powers most of the stock exchanges, airlines, theme parks, and many other critical solutions in the world. The next part of it is hospitality. Of course, everyone's waiting for the COVID restrictions to lift and to get back on a plane and travel. We used to attract about $4.5 billion worth of tourism spend in Sri Lanka back in 2019. Our objective is to double that by 2025, and with about 15 to 20% growth year on year, I think we were on track. So we're looking to do that a little further down, but still aggressive. But I think with these numbers can be achieved. With that, there's a lot of opportunities for tourism-related investments that needs to come into country, whether it is restaurants, entertainment, theme parks, hotels, so on and so forth. Close to about 30,000 hotel rooms are needed. So it's an ample, I would say it's a lucrative investment destination, given the dynamics as well as the investment returns you expect from Sri Lanka. The next part of it is agri and food processing. Of course, Sri Lanka has taken a bold move to try to move the agri production as much as into organic realm. So anyone who's looking to source organic products or do organic product-based value addition in Sri Lanka, this will be a great location to think about that with this policy move. So there's quite a strong push and pull strategy being put in place to move Sri Lanka into the organic realm. The other two parts of it is infrastructure, of course. With the growth in GDP, with upward mobile population, the urbanization is bound to happen. So whether it is high rises, office complexes, the underlying infrastructure in terms of the roads, ports, airports, all these will have to be developed or further developed. So that means there's a lot of opportunity for infrastructure investors. And of course, with the port city coming in as one of our premium investment destination, the services sector is given a boost. Port city puts Sri Lanka or the port city area on par with places like Dubai, with the Singapore or Qatar financial centers in terms of the flexibility and the autonomy in terms of companies to operate. So on top of that, what we are working on is to make sure that we do the structural unlock to provide the low cost of business and high ease of doing business, and also make sure that our low risk of doing business in the country is maintained. Right. So all of these, we are looking to usher in a growth of about 7% post the COVID timeframe to get to about $30 billion worth of exports, both goods and services, by 2025. And looking at, to support that, we are trying to bring in, or we are looking to bring in 3 times more quality graduates for employment. So there's opportunity for foreign university or education providers to come and set up in Sri Lanka as well. So our investor-friendly policies of 100% ownership, 100% repatriation, all those will continue to be in Sri Lanka. So those will continue in terms of our commitment for the investors. So just to talk about a few things, and we just touched on this one. This is the farmer zone that is being built in Hambantota, which is next to the port as well as the airport. This zone will be pre-cleared for any type of drug manufacturing. So that means whether it is from a simple molecule like a paracetamol to oncology to APIs, or whether it is biosimilars, everything is provided. Multiple wastewater disposal opportunities, whether it's a sea outfall, whether it is incineration, whether it is surface drying, all that has been provided. So it will be one of those state-of-the-art zones designed by international design consultants with shared infrastructure. That's one of the advantages that we'll have in this particular zone. Along with that, like, the tax benefits and all the other benefits will be provided to equate and create an attractive playing field for all the investors. We are the most ethical sourcing destination today. We are looking to be the most environmentally friendly sourcing destination as well. So as I mentioned earlier, we are looking to localize our fabric manufacturing with green credentials in Erawur. So that will create one of the leading sourcing destinations, or Sri Lanka can be certified as one of the leading sourcing destinations where fabric without guilt, and as well as a fabric destination with all the green credentials point of view. So in terms of ICT, we talked about in detail. So since we are running behind in schedule, I will not go into this detail, but it provides a lot of opportunity. Also on the tourism, as I mentioned, quite a bit of opportunities in the areas around wildlife, whether it is the MICE tourism related activities, the hotels, entertainment, and so on and so forth. So we talked about our growth is enabled as the basis is a low cost of doing business. So when you look at the low cost of doing business, it's one of the lowest in terms of the corporate tax and individual tax rates in the region. Typically, we will easily provide 5 to 10 years of tax holidays for the selected sectors to make sure that your investments are even more facilitated and it's comparable with the tax breaks afforded with any other investment destination you're looking at. One of the best things that Sri Lanka offers is we have one of the highest productivity adjusted labor cost, and our salary inflation has been one of the lowest in the region. And the advantage also is that the people are typically quite loyal to the workforce or the working location of the company. So that gives you a stable workforce to work with. And if you look at JETRO, the Japanese agency who does all this benchmarking across many of the regions in Asia, talks about Sri Lanka being one of the cheapest locations in terms of the energy cost. In terms of what are we doing to improve the ease of doing business, and I think some of you might have followed us on the Sri Lanka Investor Forum that was concluded recently. We talked very extensively about the ease of doing business and what are the aspects that we have taken on or embarked on to increase ease of doing business. One is that we have introduced a investor-friendly legal and regulatory reforms that are underway. So setting up a court system just for the investors to iron out or resolve any of the issues or disputes that may arise. So thereby creating a much faster resolution. We are in terms of building a world-class infrastructure. So further improving the rankings. Of course, the port city coming in, the location will be in the top 25 in terms of ease of doing business, as well as the world-class infrastructure that will provide. And we are also the top location in terms of starting a business in the region. We want to be the number one, and we are working towards getting the number one status. In terms of it's a stable country, it is ranked as the one of the most safest countries in the region. We have a strong democratic institution, stable democratic country, and a judicial system. We are ranked number 2 in terms of the investment law, but with some of the new laws that's coming in, but it's a GDPR kind of data protection, investment protection, and also the worker-related law reforms that's coming in will make Sri Lanka one of the most attractive, the low-risk investment destinations for you all. If you look at Port City, I just want to quickly touch on this.
So, Mr. Sanjay,
so what is this?
Time, please.
Right, just 2 seconds.
Okay.
And so one would be it's a whole brand new city, which is in addition to the port city that we are building, also the CBD that we are building in. This will be a good destination for many of the companies to look at setting up their the regional headquarters. Overall, if I want to catch up quickly, look at it, we are looking at doubling our GDP with 6 thrust sectors, and we are providing one of the best environmental friendly sourcing destinations. And we have close to 1,200 BOI companies in Sri Lanka, many of the brand names that you will recognize in the world. So I would encourage any investor who's looking here to come and put their logo here and be Sri Lanka as the next investment destination as BOI. We are here to facilitate your end-to-end journey in the nick of time to make sure that you have a good experience in Sri Lanka, and happy to connect with any of the investors who are here to get a good sense of how is it setting up business here. Thank you.
For your informative presentation, and that was really enlightening to get to know more about Sri Lanka and the sectors of investments and like that. And ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the second speaker from Sri Lanka, Mr. Suresh Dainath, and he is representing export development of Sri Lanka. Mr. Suresh holds a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering from Cal Poly, California. He worked in the US as an agricultural and environmental engineer for 10 years. He returned home in 1990 and invested in Tangala to employ rural unemployed youth and to increase foreign exchange for the country and to expand the family business. Suresh also actively serves as on the Council of Employers, Federation of Ceylon, the boards of Hamptonana District Chamber of Commerce, and the Skills Development Fund. He is also the acting managing director of the Global Entrepreneurship Network Sri Lanka, and recently has been appointed as the chairman and chief executive of Sri Lanka Export Development Board. So, Mr. Suresh, welcome, and over to you now to deliver your presentation. Your mic, please.
So you need to unmute.
Okay, good.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Sri Lanka's export opportunities to the Middle East. We are doing 12.4 million US dollars at the moment. And we've got lots of opportunity to expand. As you can see, we have been doing lots of exports to the Middle East, and Oman can come up on this list. We will work together to do that. And here are Sri Lanka's major exports to the Middle East. Black tea, diamonds, desiccated coconut, prepared foods, solid or cushioned tires, bananas, nuts and other seeds, crude coconut oil, fruits and vegetables, spices, rubber gloves, and personal protection equipment. Sri Lanka's major imports from the Middle East are petroleum oil, urea, polyethylene, polypropylene, wire and refined copper, cement clinkers, diamonds, and non-industrial diamonds. Bilateral trade between Oman and Sri Lanka over the last 5 years. As you can see, in the last year, we have improved our trade, and we hope we can continue that trend and have more exports coming into Oman. The major exports to Oman at the moment are medium oil preparations, men's suits and textiles, stoppers, caps and lids, food preparations, desiccated coconuts, nuts and other coconuts, coconut oil, and tea. Sri Lanka's major imports from Oman include petroleum gases, chemical fertilizers, gypsum, polymers and primary forms, dried fish, salted fish, plastic plates, sheets, film foil, and polyurethanes. The identified exports for Oman are the food sector, fruits and vegetables, wellness tourism, boat industry, fishery sector, poultry products, logistics, educational services, and ICT, BPM and BPO. Of course, my colleague Sanjay pointed out that Sri Lanka will be a favorite nation now for organic produce. So we will also be marketing our organic food products in a big way in the future. We have a well-equipped processed food industry, internationally accepted quality and food safety standards, complying with ISO and other global agricultural agricultural practices, good manufacturing practices, HACCP, halal and organic certified products. Processed food, again, rice and cereal based, confectionery and bakery products, frozen foods and dehydrated fruits, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. As we have a country blessed with a tropical climate and a variety of agricultural crops, more than 80 different varieties of fruits and vegetables, availability of the certification, organic cultivations, and so on. And that's more of the same. These are the certificates that we already have. We've been exporting organic produce already for over 25 years. And we are recognized in the European market as a high quality organic producer. And of course, Sri Lanka's #1 merchandise export is apparel. All types of apparel. Then comes rubber tires and rubber products. Then as boat building and nautical tourism is a sector for investment as well as for export manufacture. We have all kinds of requirements for infrastructure and opportunity for production. Of course, Sri Lanka is famous for the Ceylon tea, the cleanest tea in the world, minimum residue levels, strictly adheres to ISO quality standards, all tea grown 100% ozone friendly. And nowadays we have lots of green tea, flavored tea, wellness teas, teas with herbs, ready to drink, tea tablets. Then our spices are world famous. True cinnamon from Sri Lanka. We are the largest producer of true cinnamon, pure Ceylon cinnamon for the world. We also do high quality essential oils, cosmetics and pharmaceuticals with our spices, pepper, cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, mace, and cardamom. We are also global #1 for exports of brown fiber, lot of coconut products. Sri Lanka's strengths, wealth of natural resources, high-skilled workforce, state-of-the-art technology, rich heritage, and compliance with international standards. Products, we have, porcelain tableware, ceramics and stoneware, sanitary ware, floor tile and wall tiles, roof tiles, and industrial ceramics. The ICT BPM industry, I'll allow my colleague Sandra to talk about that. And EDB, the Export Development Board, is the apex export promotion agency in Sri Lanka, and we network with all the Sri Lankan business chambers, product associations. We have a close relationship with international organizations, work closely with the Sri Lanka Overseas Missions, export promotions, one-to-one business meetings, and detailed information on products, tariffs, regulations, trade statistics, and things like that. And we are set up to help anyone who would like to import from Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh Dainath from the Export Development of Sri Lanka to give us a clear picture about the export scheme of Sri Lanka and the like. And ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the third speaker from Sri Lanka, Ms. Sandra De Zoisa. She's from the Sri Lanka Association for Software and Services Companies. She's the chairperson of the National Chamber for the IT Business Process Management Industry, Sri Lankan Association of Software and Services Companies, SLACOM. Her career in the ICT industry spans over 30 years as the longest tenured employee in the mobile telecommunications sector. Sandra is a visiting lecturer at the University of Colombo School of Computing for over a decade and is an avid global speaker who has represented dialogue at over 200 global events. So, Ms. Sandra, welcome to this forum, and we are looking forward to seeing your presentation. Over to you.
Thank you so much, and good day to everybody. My congratulations also on the partnership that was done this morning between Sri Lanka and Oman. If you can confirm that you can see my slide, I will then move on. Yes? You can see my slide?
We can see the preview of your slides, but we need to see the full screen.
Okay, so let me go on to the full screen then. Okay. Let me get on the full screen. Let me move through. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about today is, I think our colleagues spoke of very many attractive propositions of Sri Lanka. Having spoken about all of what Sri Lanka has on offer, I am actually going to talk to you about the knowledge and economy industry of Sri Lanka, which has often known to be the hidden gem within the country. So let me quickly move on. So what really I am alluding to here is the fact that, let me get this on full screen. Alluding to is the fact that you can now see it on full screen, yes? Yeah, that Sri Lanka is really, is the power source really behind doing business. We've been doing business for the last 30 years.
We can't see the slides.
Okay, so let me just sort that one out. Let me try and get the slides going. Do you now see the full screen?
Not yet.
Okay, let me just get that sorted out. Thank you.
Unfortunately, the full screen is black.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, let me get the full screen sorted out. But while I get that sorted out, let me talk to you about our industry. So what we've done, Sri Lanka Association for Software Services Industry, we've been doing business in Sri Lanka and serving some of the global markets from Sri Lanka and some of the global brands. We've been working very, very closely in the last couple of years to be able to bring some of the global brands into Sri Lanka and serve some of the global brands from Sri Lanka. And we have been known to be called an island of innovators and creators, given the fact that many of the international brands, just like in the garment industry, how we were able to create garments without guilt, the IT BPM sector at the moment is really set to grow and be able to take the industry. Our aspirations from SLASCOM is really about taking our industry by 2025 to a $5 billion industry. I know my colleague Sanjay actually spoke about the industry really being 3 billion by 2025. But here from our sector, we really want to try and take it to a lot more. And with everything that has been set in place now, as explained to you from by Suresh, as well as our chairman of BOI, we are set to build our industry to bigger markets. So some of the things that we really have in place to get this climate going are the industry's capacity and talent. Currently, we have some programs in place that are able to take the capacity and talent of our industry to greater heights. I would like to find out from you whether you can see my screen now.
عطني المايك.
Oh,
you can't?
We can't see.
Miss Sandra, you can carry on.
Okay, so I will just simply carry on.
Yes.
Right. So what we are gearing for is that in the future, it is said that there will no longer be the large fish that eat the small fish, but it will be the fast fish that eat the slow fish, right? And this was mentioned by Professor Claus, Executive Chairman at the World Economic Forum. So Sri Lanka really wants to be in that growth trajectory and powering the world and to be able to bring our capacity and our skills into the country. So over the last 30 years, we in fact have many global brands such as Cisco and Pepsi and Nike, Fujitsu, eBay, Macy's, and all of these wonderful brands, global brands that are powered by our country's IT and BPM industry. We also have what is called the IOI brand, which we have built, and that was launched in 2020 to take the Sri Lankan IT BPO industry to the world. IOI is Island of Ingenuity, and what it does is to allow us to go out to the global market as a country, where we are able to showcase our creative and flexibility, as well as our nimble and agile workforce, and of course our warm hospitality, as Sanjay as well as Suresh alluded to. And we are working through to ensure that there's a high EQ and pro-individuality in terms of those that work within our country. And in terms of also value, we are here to create value and the capacity build. We have, Microsoft as well as Google that actually conduct their summer camps, and this has been going on for over a decade in Sri Lanka now. And we are gearing up with all this as providing recognized talent and good talent to the global market. A couple of the other things that we've been doing is that over the years, we have really seen 4 distinct operating models that emerge. And these operating models really are around setting up of captive innovation centers in Sri Lanka to accelerate digital transformation and disruption. The second being using of Sri Lanka as a test bed and regional hub to enter into the fast-growing markets in Asia. Third, being investing in local businesses and startups who are developing relevant domain-specific transformational IP and business products. And of course, finally, setting up of offshore operations to complement their operations being closer to India, which is known to be a global innovation hub, right? So these are some of the, attractiveness of doing business in Sri Lanka, propositions that we are promoting. And of course, then we have seen that there are lots of emerging technologies. So ahead of bringing all of this through SLASCOM, as well as with close partnership with the universities and the education system, we have incubators and centers of excellence set up, embodying AI as well as automating trust and intelligent automation, as well as conversational interfaces, and also in support of extended reality. So some of these things will actually make this IT BPM industry in Sri Lanka a very attractive proposition for global players as we move along. Then, of course, I think in terms of doing business in a country that many foreign nationals come to visit with great tourism and that we love, is of course the fact that country offers a wonderful destination. We are currently #2 in the digital nomad listing as well. This means that we have an attractive proposition where we can look at bringing businesses to work out of Sri Lanka in terms of setting up their delivery destinations, along with a nice holiday destination as well. So some of the things that are better known in Sri Lanka are for the similar businesses such as Tesla, Netflix, Uber, and all these brands that are disrupting the world. We also hope to make sure that we can bring all of these brands into Sri Lanka to do some of their work with us. And of course, we are obviously looking in terms of business leveraging emerging tech, which is to get into like-minded partnerships and collaboration, and of course to be proactive and co-create and co-innovate with businesses. So we are looking to the world to really be able to warmly welcome all the business propositions that are in tech, and of course the number of reasons as to why you may want to really come in to do business with us would be as explained about our people and about the facilities on offer, about the high quality technical talent and capabilities that are already in Sri Lanka, and the attractiveness, of course, of doing business in Sri Lanka itself. So here with that, we of course have our Island of Ingenuity brand offer, and we would like to warmly welcome businesses in Oman and trade in Oman to be able to join us in our transformational journey, the Sri Lanka proposition that we bring together, which is called the Island of Ingenuity. From the end of SLASCOM, I would be very happy to continue these discussions and dialogues and invite you to really join hands with us. That's it from me, and thank you so much.
Informative presentation, and we do apologize for the technical issue that you had faced to share your screen, but we really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our last speaker from Sri Lanka in today's forum is Mr. Asuka. He's the Managing Director of Hetiguda Group of Companies, and has been the past President of the National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka. Mr. Asuka holds an MBA from the Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Lanka, of Sri Jayawardenepura, Sri Lanka in 2003. And he is also a fellow member of the Institute of Certified Professional Manager of Sri Lanka, and he holds a Bachelor of Science from Northern University of Illinois, majoring in Artificial Intelligence and minor in Business Studies. So, Mr. Asuka, welcome, and we are waiting for your presentation. Over to you, please.
Thank you, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for that kind introduction. Let me try sharing my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I know you've given me very little time to speak about Sri Lanka's tourism industry. And today I will speak on Ayurveda wellness tourism. Today, with health becoming a priority on everyone's mind, and Sri Lanka offers a tremendous opportunity in this regard. As you know, Sri Lanka is a little island. It's in the southern tip of India, and certainly with direct flights from Oman, it's a very comfortable journey, three to 4 hours. And from the map of Sri Lanka here, it sort of gives you a glimpse of the tourism attractions. As you know, we have a beautiful coastline and also a lot of natural wonders, architectural sites, rainforests, tremendous food, and I will today speak on our heritage of wellness tourism. So I will discuss my topic in 4 key areas. I will say a few words about Sri Lanka's history on wellness tourism, what we call as Helavedakama or Ayurveda in Sri Lanka, strength of Sri Lanka's Ayurveda. And today everyone is talking about boosting one's immunity. And as we all know that we may have to live with COVID for the next coming years. And the international awards that Sri Lanka tourism has won. So let me look at Sri Lanka's history. Sri Lanka's heritage on Vedakama started more than 6,000 years ago by King Pulasti. He is the famous, well-known Sri Lanka's King Ravana's grandfather. And but it was popularized mostly by King Ravana. He had even written documents for treatments called Baisajja Grantha, Nadi, pulse diagnosis, Arka Shastra, and Prakasha Shastra, that is herbs, tinctures, and extracts, Kumaratantra, metals, calculations, pediatrics. These were all documented, sometimes by prose, sometimes in documents more than 6,000 years ago. And now on the right, you see a sculpture, a statue in the British Museum of King Ravana. Of course, he was not a man with 10 heads, but it indicates that he was known for his knowledge was for 10 different areas. He was very extremely knowledgeable king. So one of the areas was medicines, and that was in Sri Lankan language, Sinhalese, called Helavedakama. Sri Lanka was also blessed with having kings who were well-known Ayurvedic physicians. King Buddhadasa, who even wrote a book on Ayurveda called Sarata Sangraha. He was a well-known king who used to treat snakes, veterinary. He was a veterinary surgeon. And in Sri Lanka's historical chronicle, Mahavamsa, that was written more than 2,000 years ago, clearly elaborates how King Buddhadasa performed cephalectomy. This is type of brain surgery to cure a person from severe headache. Now, these are things that, of course, the past history of Sri Lanka. But what's very interesting is these traditions are still continued. And in an environment where people are now looking at natural remedies, and we all know that COVID has given an opportunity to look at what are the best ways of boosting one's immunity. This Ayurveda and Helavedakama is a tremendous opportunity, and which is inherited in Sri Lanka. Just to look at the immune boosting activities, treatments for COVID. You know, we have many treatments for colds, respiratory problems, which is very used by everyone, made with ginger, coriander, pepper. It's called Paspangwa. And this is one of those oldest remedies in the country. 5 ingredients. In steam inhalation with herbs. Mental health is also extremely important at a time with COVID, with yoga, meditation to strengthen the mind and body, also mindfulness, and also one of the best known therapies in Ayurveda called Panchakarma, 5 treatments focusing on cleansing the body of toxins and to promote preventative, curative, promotive actions. And this is something that I think the world is now looking for rather than having a particular vaccine or whatever. We don't know exactly what type of virus will become popular pandemic in the next coming years. But if you have your immune system strengthened, I can assure you that you're ready to face anything. And I think even in your culture, there are lots of indigenous ways of promoting health, boosting one's immunity. And this is Ayurveda's or Hela Vedakama's main purpose. Also, continuing on this, we have certain rejuvenation therapies and also using food as immune boosting activities, whereas using various medicinal leaves, traditional foods, there are certain rice varieties that are found in Sri Lanka with this organic culture being promoted. We have various traditional foods that promote immunity. And also, as we have not spoken up to now of Sri Lanka's heritage in black tea, there are many new infusions made with black tea and herbs that can become part of one's daily life. And also, today, as you know, many people are having problems of having sound sleep. And our traditional practices can even help to obtain or to promote such methods. And sometimes sleep is extremely important for a healthy person. So these are some of the things that we are currently doing. And so if you ask why should somebody come to Sri Lanka for these treatments, what are the strengths of Sri Lanka? We have more than 20,000 Ayurvedic doctors. These are doctors coming out of universities as well as traditional doctors who are coming from, as I said, more than 6,000 years of heritage. We have thousands of yoga, meditation instructors, particularly coming from Buddhist Indian influence of yoga meditation. There are more than 200 Ayurvedic or resorts or retreat where anyone can come and spend 14 to 21 days or even longer for these types of therapies. And it is already promoted in most parts of Europe, and they are extremely popular. Many of the Europeans do come for longer periods, and they totally promote healthy lifestyles, health food, yoga, meditation, total rejuvenation packages. Also, from our heritage, we have many other forms of blessings for mental health, called yantra, mantra, and thowil. These are how to get rid of evil spirits. And as you know, sometimes it's even more important for mental health to have better mental health than physical health. Because many are today having good physical health, but their psychology, their psyche, mind and soul are weak. So today, to survive in this current world, we need both, not only physical, but mental health as well. We also, as I said, grow lots of medicinal rice varieties, spices, vegetables, and so we have abundance of natural foods. Rich biodiversity. We have lots of endemic medicinal plants. Some of these plants are only grow in Sri Lanka, and we can have a real authentic experience. Many travel sites call it Sri Lanka as an authentic destination with a year-round friendly weather and with many other tourist attractions such as wildlife, culture, environment, etc. So let me go to the last segment of my presentation. What has Sri Lanka won in the international arena? We have won a plethora of awards, starting from Condé Nast to CNN Travel to Travel Leisure, Lonely Planet, Good Food, Travel Lemming, IScape. These are coming from different parts of the world. So let me go through some of these. Condé Nast Traveler ranks Sri Lanka as #2 favorite country to travel in 2020. As you know, travel came to a standstill in 2020, but before that, it was ranked as #2 country. CNN Travel says 20 best places in the world. Travel Leisure makes the 4th best island to visit. USA Today says best winter destination. Lonely Planet made Sri Lanka the best travel destination in 2019. This was a very key moment for Sri Lanka's tourism. And as I mentioned about food, BBC says Sri Lanka has best food, best cuisine. And this is coming from the younger generation. And also many other sites like Travel Lemming and iEscape. So this really summarizes my presentation that clearly shows what Sri Lanka tourism can offer with respect to Ayurveda wellness tourism. And as a company who is in this business making Ayurvedic products, and I can assure you that Sri Lanka is best geared to serve Omani travelers who are interested in an authentic health holiday with traditional treatments. We do practice these traditional methods where we, in Sri Lanka, we try to have only males doing treatments on males. We respect our culture, and which is very similar practices in your culture. So we are continuing that legacy of our heritage. And I hope that there will be many tourists in coming months. And as my fellow speakers mentioned, that Sri Lanka government has started an initiative to vaccinate all people who are in the tourism industry. And this will happen within the next month or so. And then Sri Lanka can actually claim that everyone related to tourism is totally vaccinated. And apart from it, with this wellness, Ayurveda wellness tourism, we offer a very competitive program for Omani travelers. Thank you.
Mr. Asuka, for your interesting presentation about the tourism sector in Sri Lanka. And now, actually, I would like to draw your attention, ladies and gentlemen, that immediately after the session, there will be online workshops, and the links have already been sent to you by email. So please check your emails. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like now to kindly ask or to invite His Excellency Engineer Rida bin Juma Al Saleh, Chairman of Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to deliver his concluding remarks. Your Excellency, over to you.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad today to be present in this business forum. And as we are getting to the end of the session, I'm very happy, and I would like to thank His Excellency Omar Amir Ajwad, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka, as well as I'd like to thank Mr. Nandika, for the President of National Chamber of Commerce in Sri Lanka, and all the speakers from Omani side and from Sri Lanka side for the feeding us the very good information. Really, I mean, it will be very useful, I'm sure, for all of us, and also for the business people who are on the waiting to hear a B2B session. At this moment, I'm also hoping that in near future we can meet each other face to face. Okay, today we are meeting on the Zoom, but I'm hoping that in the near future, after 2-3 months, when the situation will be COVID better, we can meet each other. So on this occasion, I would like to invite His Excellency the President to visit Oman and with the delegation, and we'll be very happy to welcome you and to show you all the infrastructure and trading facility and investing facility which we have in Oman. So I would like to thanks again one more time and hope to see you again in very near future.
Rida bin Juma Al Saleh, Chairman of Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for your kind words and for your wishes also that future collaborations will, of course, be culminated after such initiatives and collaborations between the two countries. Dear audience, on behalf of you all, I would like to thank His Excellency Engineer Rida bin Juma Al Saleh, the Chairman of Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, His Excellency Umar Amir Ajwad, Ambassador of Sri Lanka to the Sultanate of Oman, His Excellency Sheikh Jum'a bin Hamdan al-Shihi, Ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman to Sri Lanka, and His Excellency Mr. Nandika Budapala, President of the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I would like also to extend my thanks and appreciation to our guest speakers from the Sultanate of Oman, Engineer Ibrahim Al-Ma'mari, Mr. Mahmoud Al-Siyabi, and Ms. Thuraya Al-Zarafi. And from Sri Lanka, Mr. Sanjay, Mr. Suresh, Ms. Sandra, and Mr. Asuka for their interesting and informative presentations about the business environment and incentives in both countries. Your Excellencies, dignitaries, and distinguished guests, the forum shed light on opportunities, possibilities, and facilities in the Sultanate of Oman and Sri Lanka that they provide to investors. And of course, this will enhance trade and investment between both countries, and all of this will come within the national vision of both countries. So this will help in realizing the visions of Oman and the vision of Sri Lanka. With that, we do come to the end of today's business forum. Looking forward to further success and achievements in this regard. And I wish you all the very best. Stay safe and take care.